Today I am going to discuss the portrait of a lady. The portrait of a lady has been written by Khushwant Singh, who was undoubtedly one of the great Indian writers writing in English. He was not only a novelist but also a reputed journalist. Born in 1915, he had his education at Government College Lahore. He went to England to study law. When he came back, he practiced at the Lahore court for some time. Then he joined the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. He also served All India Radio for some times. He got his name and fame as the editor of the Illustrated Weekly of India. Later, he edited Yojana, New Delhi, and the Hindustan Times. He traveled widely and had wide exposure to life. His first novel, Train to Pakistan, is now recognized as a classic. His notable works are I Shall Not Hear the Nightingale Daily, The Company of Women, and The End of India. His history of six in two volumes in a memorable work. His syndicated columns with malice towards one and all, and above all in various newspapers, remained very popular among the masses. Introduction. The Portrait of a Lady provides a vivid account of Khushwant Singh's relationship with his grandmother. It describes the various turning points in their relationship. Their friendship was most intimate when the author lived with his grandmother in the village. When they moved to the city, the urban way of life and modern education in a convent school weakened the bond of their friendship. The author's realistic account makes us think of our own relationship with our grandparents. The grandmother in the story is, in fact, a universal figure of selfless maternal love. In the first paragraph, the author talks about his grandmother. He had known her for the past 20 years and she had always been old and wrinkled. He was told that she was once young and pretty and had a husband. His grandfather's portrait hung on the wall, in which he wore loose fitted clothes, a turban, and had a long white colored beard that reached his chest. He also appeared very old, and the author thought that he was someone who could have many grandchildren but not a wife or children. The author could never imagine that once his grandmother was young and pretty. He could not connect to this idea. She used to tell him and his cousins about her childhood memories, like the games she used to play as a child. They found these stories illogical and disrespectful because it was beyond their imagination to think that grandmother was once a child and played such games. They thought that her life stories were like the other moral stories which she used to tell them. Moving to the next paragraph, he was discussing about his grandmother. The portrait of a grandmother is all about her character traits, her attributes, her physical gesture and posture, and all about. So, here in this paragraph, Khushwant Singh was telling that his grandmother was short, fat, slightly bent in posture, and her face had lot of wrinkles. She seemed so old, and she had been the same for the past 20 years. According to the author, she was beautiful but not pretty. She walked around the house in an awkward way wearing spotless white clothes with beads of the rosary hanging from one hand and the other hand rested on her back for support. She had silver colored hair which was not neatly combed and was disorganized. She was constantly chanting prayers. He compares her to the winter landscape in the mountains, which has a peaceful and calm feel. She was a live example of pure white peace emitting entity. She was an epitome of serenity. Thereafter, the author discussed about the relationship with his grandmother. He recalled that the author lived with her in the village. They were good friends. His parents left him with her to settle in the city. The author's grandmother used to wake him up every morning and get him ready for school. She would recite her morning prayers while she bathed and dressed him up, and he loved her voice and he would not try to memorize a word of what she spoke. She would make his things ready like a wooden slate, a tiny earthen ink pot, and a red pen. He would eat a thick stale chapati with butter and sugar spread on it. They both used to walk to school, and his grandmother carried stale chapatis with her to feed the village dogs. Now, the episode took turn and twist. Their common link of friendship started to be snapped. Years rolled by, and he recalled that with the passage of time, their interaction reduced. For some time, she continued to wake him up and would get him ready for school. She would ask him what he had learned in school that day. The scientific terminology and English words made her unhappy. As she did not know the language, she could not help him with the lessons. As his new school never taught him about God and religious scriptures, this made her sad. She did not approve of such an education when she came to know that he was getting music lessons. It disturbed her. According to her, music was indecent and it was an art for the beggars and prostitutes, and not for those belonging to decent families. She didn't like that he learned music, so she stopped talking to him. As the author went to university, he had a room of his own. The common link of friendship with his grandmother that they had when they shared the same room was changed now, and thus his friendship with her ended. She became more private and spent her whole day spinning wheel. From sunrise to sunset, she would sit silently and recite her prayers. In the afternoon, she used to feed sparrows in the veranda. Breaking the bread into small pieces, she would feed 100 of birds. The birds would gather around her. Some sat near her, some on her legs, some on her shoulders, and few on her head. She never shooed them, but always smiled. She was the happiest in that half an hour during the whole day. When the author decided to go abroad for further studies, he believed it would be the last time he would see her as he would be gone for 5 long years. As they all reached the station, she held him tightly and kissed his forehead. He thought it was the last physical contact with her. The wet impression of her hand was clear to him. She was not sentimental at all. When he came back after 5 years, she came to meet him at the station. She looked just the way she did 5 years ago, not a day older. She held him again in her arms and was still reciting her prayers. In the evening, a change came. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. For several hours, she thumped the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum and sang of the homecoming of warriors. She did not care of her physical stamina, and she fell ill. The doctor came and told that it was a mild fever and it would go. But grandmother took it differently. According to her, she would die soon as her end was near. She started chanting prayers as she did not want to waste her last hours in talking to anyone. All the family members protested, tried to stop her, but she lay peacefully on her bed, chanting prayers and doing her bits. Suddenly she stopped and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. A calm, pale appearance spread on her face and she was dead. All over the veranda and in her room, right up to where she lay dead and still wrapped in the red shroud, thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor. There was no chirping. We, all the family members were very sorry for the birds, and the mother of the narrator fetched some bread for the birds, but they did not eat any. They flew away later as the family carried the dead body. The sweeper removed the crumbs the next morning. The birds were so sensitive. They did not want to eat bread, but were mourning the death of the one who had fed them for so many days. So, now we discuss some important points. There are three different phases, and all the three phases are very much important. First phase is the phase of friendship. During the initial phase, the author and his grandmother were good friends. The author had nothing but love and admiration for his grandmother. The grandmother used to look after him. She would wake him up and get him ready for school. She would accompany him to the school. Fading of friendship. This phase started when the author began to attend an English school in the city. The grandmother could not help him in his studies as she did not know English. The laws of science baffled her. She did not like the author's learning music and all that. She felt that music was not meant for gentle folk. So she withdrew herself into her seclusion, snapping off friendship. The author was given a separate room. The interaction between him and the grandmother became minimal. The grandmother rarely talked to him. She was satisfied with her praying and feeding the sparrows. Very importantly, character sketch of grandmother. This is very much important as the whole story revolves around her character. The author's grandmother was an old, short, fat lady. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles. She used to wear white clothes, telling the bits of her rosary. She seemed a picture of perfect serenity. She was a religious lady. She visited the village temple daily and read scriptures. She was not only gentle and polite but also kind and generous. In the village, she fed the dog with stale chapatis, and in the city, she fed the sparrows. The sparrows often sat on her head or shoulders, but she never shooed them away. She was very responsible and caring lady. She looked after the author well in the village. She took interest in what was taught to him. She was very practical lady also, very realistic. She did not behave sentimentally when she saw the author off at the station. When the author returned, she went to the railway station to receive him. She felt extremely happy. When her end was near, she rightly sensed it. She stopped talking, she died in her inaudible prayers. Title. The title of the story is very much appropriate as the whole story revolves around the grandmother. The focus is on the grandmother from the beginning to the end. In the true sense, it is a vivid portrait of the grandmother. The author gives a detailed account of the life and personality of a person with whom he had a long emotive association. By giving her graphic portrait, he seems to pay his tribute to his old friend who had a great influence on him. So, on the whole, we can say that the portrait of a lady is basically a pen portrait of the author's grandmother. It doesn't have any explicit message. It only underlines the fact that a truly religious person is always calm and composed, kind hearted and generous. Such a person was the author's grandmother. She was a thoroughly religious person. She had compassion and affection for all. She generously fed dogs and sparrows. The author also hints at the generation gap as he refers to his grandmother's objection to the absence of any teaching of scriptures in his new English school and her particularly antipathy to music. That's all